Alright, are you ready, Dario? This fanfiction is called Farming for Love by I'm a Child
Carry
of Apollo
0294.
Everlark
Oh boy, another
Triangle,
fanfic key.
which is a great name. Summary. A farmer alternate universe where Bowser and Luigi are rivals to friends to lovers. Notes. This fic is inspired by Geeky Peanut and Mikael Lirangel on Twitter, who started a Stardew Valley playthrough as Bowser and Luigi. Chapter 1. Big changes. Luigi still couldn't believe that his grandfather had a secret farm in the countryside of the Mushroom Kingdom. He and his brother Mario had no idea that Nono Luigi ever left the city, never mind owned a farm. Luigi wondered who was taking care of the place while Nono was in the city, and why he left, and why he never sold it or took them to visit it. Okay. So his grandfather is called Nono. Nono.
Yes. No.
Luigi wished Mario could have traveled with him, but someone had to stay home and tend to the business, and as their Nono used to say, time and money don't wait for grief! So Luigi was going to inspect the farm left to them and decide what to do with the place. Strawberry, stop! Cried the conductor, intruding Luigi's thoughts. He stood and gathered his suitcases and hopped off the train when it fully stopped. He searched the platform for the man that he was to meet, a friend of the family apparently. He spotted a toad in a vest holding a sign with his name on it. Luigi walked up to the man and asked, "Excuse me, are you Tony Toad?"
I am. It must be Luigi Mushani II. Pleasure to meet you, pal.
No, you sound like Emma. Tony shook Luigi's hand enthusiastically as he talked.
I'm so happy to finally meet you. The old man was so proud of you, and your brother wrote us about you often.
Luigi scratched his head. Yeah, funny. He never told us about you. Tony didn't seem to hear him as the train pulled away from the station and he was distracted loading up Luigi's luggage in the car that was pulled by a couple of Yoshis. The pair was soon riding away from the station and towards the farm. Luigi listened to Tony as he pointed the interesting parts of town and saying hi to people walking by. Eventually, they reached the farm and Luigi saw that the little farm was a lot bigger than he thought it would be. It spanned 231 acres. It was overgrown with weeds, trees, a few rocks from a nearby mountain, and bushes. Lots of bushes, and a sign at the end of the driveway that said in big faded letters, Mush Farms. Luigi sighed. I didn't know it was gonna be this big. Looks like I have my work cut out for me. As Tony showed him the way around the farm, where the tools, tractors, house, and etc. were, he talked.
Cinnamons is the old abandoned mine. You could venture in there if you want. Not sure if you'll find, but be aware that your Gramps and old man Koopa share mine, so you'll have to work with his grandson, Bowser Koopa. Oh, and if you see weird lights on up here, that's just a wizard cooking something in his tower. I'd avoid him if I were you.
Luigi nodded and followed along as best as he could. Eventually, Tony walked to a spot with a fence.
What? There's the boundary lines between your land and the Koopa's land. If you get lost out here, just follow it along and you'll find your way back home. Well, I think that's all. I hope you survive your first night here alone.
Luigi jumped a little. Alone? And I thought you live on the farm. Tony laughed a little.
Oh no, your Gramps only paid me to check the house. Make sure everything was undamaged and tip-top condition. That's all. I guess he hoped to take you and your brother here sometime.
Tony said as he walked back to his cart.
Fuck you. If you need anything, feel free to ask the Koopas or myself. Have a good one. And welcome to Star Valley.
Luigi waved. Luigi waved. As Tony ambled down the drive, then turned side and got to work. Hours later, he had his green sleeves rolled up, pulling and plowing the field when he heard a child's voice.
Who is this?
A child. Just some child. He whipped around and saw a chainsaw barreling away in the field next door. Dragging a broken chain and gripping on the chain on his back was a small child. Luigi tossed his hoe! his hoe to the ground, ran, jumped the fence, and kept running until he was next to the boy. Let's go! I'll catch ya!
I can't! If he gets away, Pa's gonna be upset and we'll lose him!
The boy yelled back. Luigi glanced at the chain and back to the boy, pushed himself faster, picked the boy up under his arm, and grabbed the chain just above the boy's hand. Ready, tack and roll! And threw the boy, who let go of the chain at the same time. He checked to see if the boy was unharmed, and when he saw that he was, he gripped the chain with both hands, planted his feet, and pulled to stop the rampaging chainsaw. Every muscle in his body growled in pain and effort as the chain went taut, and the chainsaw pulled and twisted to get away. Luigi ignored the pain and the realization that his already sore body was going to ache even more tomorrow, and he tried to ignore the beads of sweat pouring down his face and back as he fought to stay in place. As he slowly pulled, a giant shadow loomed over him, and he saw two big yellow arms that were glistening with sweat, but shone with power, and two big clawed hands with spiked bracelets around the wrists grabbed the chain, and a deep voice growled,
Out of the way, Tiny. I got this.
Luigi was too tired and sore to protest, so he let go and jumped out of the way, and watched as the giant turtle with a spiked shell, two horns and a spiked collar around his neck, and two more spiked bands around his toned, muscle-up upper arms. His red hair was blowing in the wind, and wet with sweat that dripped onto his face wrestled the chain. Wow, I guess the author was very horny for Bowser and his spiked accessories here. Wow. Luigi shook himself when he realized that he was oogling the stranger who probably just saved his life. He watched as the big turtle growled and grunted as he swung the chain around so the chainsaw was facing him. He then roared and charged it and caught it in his strong, thick hands. He wrestled with the chainsaw until finally he pushed it to a thick tree. Luigi, realizing what he planned to do, got up and grabbed the chain and ran it around the trunk and tied a small but strong knot, keeping the chainsaw in place. He let out a small breath and walked up to the two turtles and went to introduce himself. What? Hi there.
What?
I'm Luigi Mushadi II. For some fucking reason. And I just inherited the farm next to yours and I...
What do you think you're doing here, Scrawny?
The big turtle interrupted him angrily. Luigi blinked for a minute and continued. Well, my grandfather died, and he gave me and my brother the farm, and now I'm here trying to...
Trying to kill my son and ruin my farm, huh? Well, it's near a big city. I'll be damned if I just sit here and let that happen. I'm not some pushover. You're gonna have to fight out your hands. If my name isn't Elder Koopa.
He yelled. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I was working in my own fields and heard your son call for help. So I tried to help, and I...
Oh, now you're saying I ain't turtle enough to protect my son or my farm. Best you get off my land before I burn you and yours in ground.
Bowser yelled. Luigi simply stared at him, completely stunned, and stayed in place, not knowing what to do. Bowser roared.
I said what?
And breathed a wall of fire from his very cute and pouty mouth. Luigi quickly jumped aside and ran back to his side of the property line, some of his hairs a little singed. Luigi looked back at the Coopers, watching Bowser pick up Junior and checked to see if he was okay. He was upset that he made such a bad impression, then he got angry that Bowser got angry and all he did was save his son from being dragged for miles. He was sorely tempted to march over, bang on the door and demand an apology and a thank you. He then remembered how his grandfather used to say, "Don't take anger on people! Take it out on your work!" So that's just what Luigi did. He pulled, tilled, planted, and stored things to sell in town later. He washed his clothes, took a shower, cooked his supper, read a book, then set an alarm for early the next day. Climbed gingerly into bed, feeling every ache, every throb, and fell asleep with the image of Bowser Cooper's hands reaching for him.
What?
Chapter 2. Business. Summary. Luigi meets some of the townspeople and has another run-in with Bowser Cooper. Can they become friends, or are they destined to be enemies? The next morning's alarm blared too soon and too loud. Luigi groggily got out of bed and put on his wristwatch, feeling all of his body ache in every nook and cranny, even ones that he didn't know that he had. He got a light breakfast, drank some coffee, filled a bottle of water, and left to work in the fields. Around 11 a.m. Luigi decided that he needed some supplies and wanted to get some lunch in town, so made a quick list and loaded his wheelbarrow and marched into town. He searched for the general goods store, which took some time, during which he decided to buy a Yoshi and a card, because his already sore feet were aching. He eventually found the GG store, opened the door, and saw a woman wearing a pink dress, white gloves that go up to her elbows, and a small crown on her head. She had blonde hair and blue eyes that seemed to shine brightly. She smiled as he came in.
Welcome. New in town?
Luigi nodded and replied,
Sort of. My nonno was apparently from here. His name was Luigi Musciani. I'm his grandson, Luigi Musciani II. I'm named after him, as a matter of fact.
The woman's smile dropped and she walked around the counter, wrapped him in a hug, and whispered softly in his ear,
I am so sorry for your loss. Your grandfather was a pillar in this community, and he talked so much of you and your brother.
They parted and she spoke again.
My name is Peach. I own the store. Your grandfather had store credit. You can put it on here and pay me whatever you can. If you need anything, please let me know.
Luigi offered a small smile and asked,
I would like to buy a Yoshi and a card. Do you know where I can do that? And get something to eat?
Of course. Tell you what, give me a list of things that you need. I'll put them aside and go to the Winking Caterpillar. Get something to eat, then go visit Tony Tot, who should have a Yoshi to sell ya.
Luigi handed her the list and walked to the Winking Caterpillar to get a warm meal. He walks in to see a bunch of toads and Toadettes, either eating, drinking, playing games, or serving them. Luigi sat at a table where a brownish, orange-haired woman walked up and said,
What kind of voice should I give her?
Well, do your best Daisy impression, Dario.
Know what I'm doing.
Oh. There we go, that's my voice.
Hi there, I'm Daisy, the owner of this here place. Feel free to order anything you eat and drink, so long as you can pay for it. What do you want, hon?
Luigi ordered a small meal and a local beer. Seeing as he hadn't had any in about a month for various reasons,
Which
as he
is a
waited,
fucking alcoholist?
yes,
alcohol.
he texted Mario to check on him and the business and update him a little. Shortly after, Tony sat down across from him and said,
I said you wanted to buy one of my Yoshis.
Luigi nodded and said,
Also, why is
that's more
Yoshi lowercased? It's like a. Why is Yoshi lowercased here?
because he's I don't know, an animal. Luigi nodded and
Object.
said,
Well, rent more like, if I can pay by the day or the week, whichever's easier for you.
Tony nodded.
Sure, I can do that. Give me a 100C for the month. We'll go from there. Of course, if it's injured or sick, you'll pay double. Is that good?
Luigi nodded, replied,
Can I pay 50C now and then 50C at the end of the month?
Tony scratched his chin.
Sure, we can do that easily. Let's shake on it. And I'll tie up the Yoshi outside Peaches. Then I'll meet you there. And I'll tell you how you care for him. Pleasure doing business with you, Luigi.
They both stood and shook hands and Tony left.
Double
Shortly
thumb.
after, Daisy returned and dropped off his meal and drink. A few minutes later, Tony joined him and ordered a coffee and something to eat, then began teaching Luigi what to do with his new Yoshi. As Tony talked, Luigi both ate and wrote some notes down in his phone. Oh, this is Bowser.
teaching Big City here how to work hard.
A familiar, sexy voice broke in, interrupting Tony and Luigi's conversation. Luigi glanced up and tried not to blush as he stared into Bowser's deep, hauntingly beautiful eyes. Oh! And replied in a shaky voice,
I'm sorry about yesterday. I didn't mean to.
Bowser held up one of his enormous hands to stop him.
Look, that's why I wanted to talk to you. You see, I jumped the gun a bit yesterday, and I thought you crossed the boundary and spooked Chompy. After everything calmed down, Junior told me he was messing around Chompy's chair, and it broke, and well, the rest, you know.
Bowser scratched the back of his head and continued.
I punished Junior, and he wanted to say something to you. Junior.
Luigi glanced down at Junior, who looked down at the floor sheepishly. Well, can you do Bowser Jr.?
Sorry that I got myself in danger. No, this is terrible.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Oh wait, that was Luigi.
Glad that I got myself in danger and almost got hurt, and I'm sorry that Papa yelled at you and blamed you.
Carry0294. Amazing voice acting, LOL.
Produced a colored picture of Luigi and Bowser holding hands while they each held the hands of Junior. Oh my god. Luigi stood up and kneeled in front of Junior, placed a hand on his shoulder softly and said,
Well, be more careful and just a little wiser next time you want to do something dangerous or foolish. Remember what happened this time. Can you do that for me, son?
Junior nodded slightly, then Luigi hugged him and said,
I'm going to hang up your drawing on my fridge when I get home and tonight. I love it. Thank you. Ho ho.
Junior's face lit up in a smile and he turned to his dad.
I go face up, Papa.
Yeah, boy. Go ahead, just be careful and don't fall in. I'll be there in a bit. I want to talk to Mr. Bouchard for a minute.
Junior hugged his dad, waved at Daisy and Tony, then ran out the door. Bowser grabbed a nearby chair, placed it next to Luigi and Tony's table, and began. That's
Now
all.
I understand. Wait. Damn, I lost myself now. So here's the thing, Big City. Your grandpa and my grandpa were friends. Don't know how. I don't know why. But they were. And I don't know you. You don't know me. And from what I've seen of your land, you don't know anything about farming except what you've seen on TV and our movies or textbooks.
He paused to gauge Luigi's reaction, then kept speaking.
Now, I understand that your grandpappy passed, and you have my condolences. Truly, you do. It's just awful losing a loved one, I know. But I also know that the only reason you're here is to sell the farm. Otherwise, you'd come here, come with more bags, and probably with your brother. So here's my point then. I'll buy your farm for 1,000 C, and then you can go on back to the city and go a living. Sounds fair? What the fuck?
Luigi pondered for
Scammer.
a minute. After all, he only did come here to sell the farm, and why not sell it to a friend of his no-nos and to someone who knows how to take care of it? He glanced at Tony, who was looking out the window, pretending not to hear the conversation, then looked back at Bowser, who was looking very polite, and that smile is definitely a charming one, it suits his face. Luigi thought to himself. He was very tempted to say yes, shake hands, exchange coin, pack his bags and go home. However, he then remembered how they first met, how Bowser talked down to him, although some truth to what he said, and felt like he's been treated this way and talked to this way before. His blood began to boil, but he kept his cool and reached for his wallet, pulled out some coin, counting it out slowly and trying to get his hands to stop shaking. He then counted out 50C and handed it to Tony, then glared at Bowser.
Mr. Koopa, I appreciate the kind words about my grandfather, and you too have my condolences for your loss. He took a deep breath. And while there is some truth to what you say, I do not appreciate how you have said it. Nor the pitiful amount of coins that you have offered me. I will not be selling mushrooms now or in the future. And I most certainly will not be selling it to you, for I am here to stay, like I promised my Dodo. Hoo-hoo! Luigi! He made for the door, turned back, tilted his hand. I do hope we can be friends, but with your attitude it is unlikely. Tell Junior he's welcome to help me or come over anytime he's not busy, and give him my regards. Good day, Mr. Koopa, Miss Daisy, Mr. Toad. He then left without waiting to hear Bowser's response. He walked into an alley where he threw up, leaned against the wall, and smacked his forehead with his hand. Stupid Luigi, why did you say that? Now you have to tell Mario that you're starving and oh boy, what a mess! He said out loud to no one in particular. Luigi shook his head, walked to Peach's store, paid for his goods, hopped on his rant at Yoshi and called Mario to update him. Luigi really regretted coming out to Star Valley. He regretted his temper. And most of all, he regretted coming into town. He hoped and wished upon this star that he didn't just make the biggest mistake of his and Mario's life. Why didn't his Nono just sell the farm and put them through all of this? Luigi laughed a little and said out loud, No, you always had a twisted sense of humor, wherever you are. I hope you're laughing. And he spent the rest of the day trying not to think how attractive Bowser's face was. Chapter 3.
Why did PM pause the game now?
I don't know, he apparently lost the match.
No, I didn't.
But I saw something about retrying.
Because I was pressing start for this moment.
Chapter 3. Routines and Festivals. Summary. Luigi has an awkward conversation with Mario about the future of the farm. The next morning, Luigi got up, ate some breakfast, drank his coffee, walked around the fields, marked places to hit some scarecrows to scare the birds away, and placed some markers for a place to move the rocks. Around noon, he took a break to eat some lunch, and he FaceTimed his brother, who answered a bit worried. They made small talk for a few minutes. Then Luigi spoke.
So, I saw that I did something stupid yesterday.
Mario sighed.
You didn't text him, did you?
Luigi blinked.
What? I mean, Lou, come on. The guy who took 6 years of your life just to go and cheat on you, and you think it's a good idea to go and text him again? At least tell me you did it after a few drinks.
Luigi shook his head.
No, I didn't text him, I swear. I got into an argument with the next door neighbor, and might have promised him that I wasn't selling the farm at all.
He watched as Mario process the bombshell he just dropped on him. Then Mario replied,
Was he cute?
Luigi choked on his water.
I'm sorry, bud. Listen, if he was cute, you probably just wanted an excuse to stay, and I totally understand. Get the dick, bro!
Mario replied. Luigi blushed.
I don't think that it's gonna work out between us. I mean, he's hard, yeah, and totally my time, but he's a jerk. He's got a temper, and oh, please, there's such a thing as hate and angry sex, you know?
She blushed even harder.
And he's got a son, so...
His voice trailed away.
So it could be Pen, or Bi, or Omni, or whatever.
Mario continued.
Just because he has a son, it doesn't mean that he's straight. He might have had a husband, boyfriend, or a partner and they died or divorced. Hey, it could have been a one-night thing and the mom left. You don't know. Don't talk yourself out of a good thing. Lou is all I'm saying. Tell you what, go ahead and sell your shares in an apartment. I'll send your stuff to the farm and you can stay for a bit and see where everything takes you. I don't want to make more work for you. I know you have your hands full, Mario.
Mario waved a hand.
Nonsense! If things get out of hand, I'd just hire someone else. Besides, you need a break from the city for a while. And a few months in the country will do you some good. And maybe you can find out more about Nono.
Luigi smiled. Oops. I somehow scrolled. Luigi smiled.
Thanks, Mario. You're the best brother a guy could ever have.
The two brothers talked for a few minutes more, then said goodbye, each refreshed and happy with the conversation. Luigi spent the rest of the day chopping down bushes, plowing, and planted some flowers near the house. As he worked, he kept thinking of what Mario said about taking some time from the city, and he admitted to himself that he rather took to the farm life. He also couldn't stop thinking about Bowser and his big toned muscles, the way that his eyes flashed with a passion and spirit. Luigi finally called it a day. Days passed smoothly for Luigi as he lived on the farm. He moved rocks, cut down trees, plowed fields, watered the plants, planted flowers, built cups. Or coops? Built coops for some chickens and pens for some animals that he purchased in town.
Chicken!
He fortunately had few run-ins with Bowser, though Bowser Jr. would come over and give him fish that he caught, and Luigi even went with him a few times and learned how to fish, and in return Luigi would buy him lunch or cookies and send him off with a hug and wave. Luigi did miss being surrounded by so many people, and he did miss his brother, even if they did FaceTime every other day for at least an hour. He also found himself missing his ex. Sure, the man was a toxic mess, and the breakup was anything but clean. You lost again!
No, I didn't. That's
Yes, you did! You lost again!
It's because my finger, I was flying against the net for some reason.
And the breakup was anything but clean, but he missed being held. He missed the warmth of someone next to him as he read a book or fell asleep. And yeah, the sex! He missed the sex! It was good. Hell, it was great. It also had been a few weeks since he's gotten laid. One morning, as he woke up, he felt his dick stiff from morning wood. He tried to ignore how stiff it was as he went through his morning routine, but gods, he was so horny that it was stiff as he hopped into the shower, so he decided to get some relief. He turned so his back was to the shower head. He loved the feel of warm water in the back of his neck, running down his back. When he hopped out of the shower and as he toweled off, he was still horny and his dick was still stiff. So he walked to his room, opened a drawer in his nightstand, pulled out a vibrator, a dildo, and some lube. That went sexual fast. Don't you agree, Dario?
Oh. What does he got to do with the lube?
He started stroking his dick.
Is he gonna lube switches for his keyboard?
Yeah, totally. He started stroking his dick, softly brushing the head with his thumb. He imagined a fuzzy picture of a man playing with him. He began to play with his butthole, at the same time, at first just rubbing his hand in the crack between his cheeks, then made circles around his hole. He put lube on the dildo and repositioned so that he was on his back and spread his cheeks, slowly inserting the dildo in his ass.
Carry 0294.
He moaned as it entered him and filled him. Then he began to moan when he turned on the vibrator and placed it on his dick.
Carry
He closed his
0294.
eyes as he pushed the dildo in and out and held the vibe in place and tried to picture someone there with him. To his surprise, he didn't picture his ex, a friend, or anyone that he had a thing for, but Bowser, of all people, of course. He tried to imagine someone else, like Eel Dog. No, just kidding. Like anyone else. But Bowser kept popping in, his voice growling in his ears, his hands pinning Luigi's, his hot breath pressing against his neck. He finally gave in and just imagined that the dildo was Bowser's dick ramming him. He moaned and groaned, imagining that Bowser would growl or groan with pleasure as he heard Luigi's. Eventually, he felt the pressure build and gasped as he orgasmed, and cum shot from his dick all over his thighs and some dripped on his dildo. He laid there for a bit and tried to catch his breath and just feel the waves of pleasure and release wash over him. When he began cleaning the mess that he made, he thought to himself,
I can't believe I came to the idea of Bowser. I must be touch stuff to imagine him combined with how often Mario brings him up. Yeah, that's it.
And he tried to push away the thought that despite what he said, he just might be attracted to Bowser. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and during that time, Luigi fell in love with Star Valley. He learned that Star Valley is the boundary for the Koopa, Mushroom, and Sarasala kingdoms. He loved the people. He loved the air, the food, everything was so different and refreshing from the city. Mario often commented that Luigi seemed happier than he had been in a long time. His encounters with Bowser were few and far in between, which Luigi was thankful for, since every time he jerked off or fingered his ass, he imagined Bowser watching or railing him. Even his sex dreams were full of Bowser riding his bussy so this is so stupid. Riding his bussy so hard that he could swear that his ass felt sore when he woke up. Wow.
Amazing.
Or pussy? I don't know how to spell this.
Boozy.
You know, it's
No, it's a
pussy,
boozy.
but with a B. It's
Yeah,
butt.
boozy. Boozy.
Boozy. Boozy?
Boozy.
Actually, I wanna see how it's pronounced. I'm gonna
Boozy.
post it in my chat now. So the text-to-speech can tell me how it is.
LizardTaro. Bussy.
Bussy. It's Bussy.
Okay.
He fell into a familiar routine of normalcy. However, one day he saw Tony Toad ambling down his drive. Luigi stopped working and waited for Tony to reach him. The two waved at each other and Tony spoke up.
Looks like you've been working hard. Looks nice. And your crop is coming in nicely. I'm glad to see the Yoshi and Birdie I sold you are helping to make me a home here.
He spat out a seed shell he was sucking on.
Are you still planning to sell the place still, or have you changed your mind?
Luigi shook his head. I'm honestly not sure yet. As the two talked for a bit, Bowser Koopa Jr. walked up to Luigi and tugged on his overalls, and when Luigi kneeled in front of him, he said, "Well, Bowser Jr.,
Shot, no babies going to town. And I was wondering if you like the joy popper and I for it. He's making his world famous king chili. And I'm helping him. Maybe you can make some of your cookies or cakes too.
Bowser leaned against the fence.
Junior, don't go bothering Big City. While he's working, go feed the animals.
Okay, Papa.
He hugged Luigi and then ran to feed the animal. Bowser spoke.
Sorry about Big City, Junior Big City. But he's right. You should come to the festival. It's a real shindig. I'll also be playing my band. Nothing too fancy, mind you.
Luigi was going to say no, given their relationship, or lack of one. But he couldn't say no to Junior, who specifically invited him. He sighed, then said, "When's the festival?" Tony spoke up.
It's not for a couple of more weeks, which actually brings me here. Daisy, Peach, and Junior keep raving how good your baked cookies are. Or goods are. And I wanted to know if you could make some for the festival.
Luigi sighed again.
Okay, sure. I bring some baked goods, and I'll even throw in a special recipe. When is it exactly?
Tony handed him a flyer with all of the info on it. Bowser and Tony left, and Luigi went back to work. After that, the following days were busy for Luigi between managing the farm and baking. He loved baking. He used to do it with his grandfather, and since it was Junior that got him back into baking, he wanted to make something special for him. He pulled out his Nono's recipe box and shuffled through them until he found the one he wanted and got to baking. He cried while making them and laughed when filling them, and when they were ready, he froze all that he cooked to keep them fresh for the festival. When everything was finished baking, Luigi sat down and suddenly it hit him. He agreed to go on a family outing with Bowser and his son. He quickly searched Instagram for Bowser's account, followed him, and messaged him. So I guess in that farm there's internet access.
Oh, man.
Missed that.
and messaged him.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure that it was okay that I come with you and Julia to the festival tomorrow. Just let me know.
He tossed the phone down and picked up one of his books and resisted the urge to check his phone. After a short while, he heard his phone pinged. He checked it, saw that Bowser followed him back and DM'd him back.
Yeah, it's fine, Big City. We gotta head to the festival early in the day. Here's my number. Send me yours and we can iron out the details.
Uh-oh.
Luigi blinked for a few minutes. He quickly texted Bowser,
Hey, this is my Luigi. This is my number.
This is by Luigi? What the fuck?
I think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake.
Typo.
This is my Luigi. This is my number. But that's kind of obvious, huh? Yes, it talks soon.
Bowser sent a thumbs up emoji and replied,
Talk soon. Going to bed. Sleep well.
Luigi sent back a good night text, sat there for a few minutes and realized that he's felt warmer than he's ever felt, and he couldn't help but be excited at the idea that he has Bowser's number. He's going on a date, essentially. Not knowing what to do with himself, stood up and began baking until he was tired and climbed into bed. The next days went by, and during that time he decided not to tell Mario until it was all over, knowing that he would tease him relentlessly. And he baked, more than he ever had since his father died. He actually remembered that he wanted to open a bakery, but went into the family business. Soon, the day came for the Coopers and Luigi to attend the festival. He squared his shoulders, smiled and prayed that nothing would happen to mess up the perfect day that was the festival. Chapter 4. The Festival. Summary. What will happen at the festival? Will Bowser and Luigi become closer or further apart? Oh, I'm so excited! The festival was much larger than he thought it would be, but everyone was so helpful and unloaded his snacks, carried them to a table and helped him get all set up. He saw across the bay Bowser sitting up with his band, and he saw Junior with a baseball cap on his head and sunscreen on his cheeks walking to the food table carrying a huge pot of what he assumed to be chili. He rushed over and asked,
Hey, Junior, you need a hand?
He firmly shook his head.
Not right now, Uncle Luigi. But I'll need help putting it on the table and finding something to stand on so I can dish it out.
Luigi listened to Junior's chatter as they walked to the table side by side.
And that's when I asked Papa if I could make his king chili this year. And he said, since I'm making it, I could serve it all by myself.
Luigi smiled and replied,
This is your first time. I know we're supposed to wait, but can I be your first customer?
Junior's face lit up and his little tail started to wag.
I want to say yes, but rules are rules, so you have to wait along with everyone else.
Luigi laughed and held his hands up as he walked back to his table. An hour later, the festival was in full swing. People were playing games, eating, laughing, and running around, having fun. Luigi was saving his desserts for later, so he stayed and helped Junior dish out his chili, after having his own bowl first, of course. Junior's tail wouldn't stop wagging as he hummed and served customers his Prince Chili, as he was calling it, and soon the pot was empty. So he and Luigi washed the pot and the ladle. Then Luigi held his hand and walked around around the festival. The two laughed and played some of the carnival games, ring toss, shooting ducks, etc. Luigi won a stuffed bear, which he quickly gave to Junior, who hugged it tightly. Junior eventually pulled him to where his dad was playing, and Luigi picked him up and sat him on his shoulder so he could see him perform. Bowser sang and played the electric guitar. He was singing Highway to Hell, then followed it up with Hotel California and Aurora Borealis. Not just kidding, just Aurora. And a slew of other classic rock songs. At some point during Anywhere You Want It, Junior got away from Luigi and climbed on stage and started dancing next to his dad. At some point, to rest his voice, Bowser switched to heavy metal and just rocked out. Eventually, Luigi walked to his dessert table and started handing out his cookies, cakes, pies, brownies, and more, but he was saving the special treat for Bowser and Junior. As he served the people, an all too familiar, nasally voice spoke,
I think that's small Luigi.
Oh my god, yeah. That's his ex. Or what?
Wow! I see you're back to baking! I think that's what I miss about you, babes!
It took all of Luigi's strength not to upend the table and attack the tall, mustached man wearing purple overalls and a black t-shirt and a purple hat with a WL on it.
Hello, sir. How can I help you? He said to his ex. His ex laughed.
Ah, come on, babes! Don't be like that! It's a me!
Luigi grinded his teeth.
I'm sorry, sir. Unless you're planning to get something from this table, then I'm not able to converse with you.
Waluigi opened his mouth to respond, but was stopped by Bowser pushing his way through with Junior on his shoulders and said,
Move it, perps, if you ain't gonna buy anything.
Purple guy tried to introduce himself.
Hi there, big fella! I'm Waluigi, and I'm sorta in the middle of...
Bowser cut him off by saying,
What do you want, Junior?
Waluigi sighed and said,
Ah, we'll talk later, Luigi. It's been nice seeing you look good.
Luigi ignored him as he got out of the special trees that he made for Bowser and his son.
Stop.
He smiled up at Junior and said,
Stop holidays anyway.
Here, Junior. I made these just for you and your dad. It was my favorite when I was your age. And the recipe has been in the family for generations.
Stop.
It's sort of a rite of passage for Mushadi men to cook it.
Stop this.
Junior's face lit up and he grabbed it and took a bite, and from the look on his face, Luigi could tell that he loved it. Bowser spoke up.
Wait, where are we? Fuck,
Weren't you paying attention, huh?
I was looking at the game.
Yeah. Bowser spoke up?
What's the name of this dang big city? It's pretty good.
Luigi chuckled nervously.
It's called a cannoli. Well, actually, it's called cannolo, and the plural is cannoli, but a lot of people just refer to it as cannoli, and I'm glad you like it. Here, have some more.
And he gave another one to Junior, who had somehow managed to get the filling all over his mouth and on his nose.
Thanks, Uncle Luigi. It's so good.
Junior said with his mouth full.
Thanks for making me Uncle Luigi. Did I make that bad?
Luigi laughed.
We'll see, Junior. It's meant to be a special treat for special occasions like today.
Junior saw some of his friends and climbed and left to play with them, leaving Bowser and Luigi alone at the table. Bowser spoke up.
Hey, thanks for watching over Junior while I was with the guys. It made it a lot easier, and thanks for the cannoli.
Luigi waved a hand as his face turned red.
Oh, shucks, Mr. Cooper. It was no trouble at all. Besides, it was nice making the cannolis. I haven't made them since my grandfather's birthday.
Bowser nodded.
Stop. It's a hard guideline you to keep.
Oh man.
Yeah, that
Bowser
first time
nodded.
making their favorite food without them is hard. I'm glad and proud of you for doing it anyways. It made Junior's day.
Luigi let out a small sigh.
I think the festival made his day, and I was just a small part of it.
Bowser shook his head.
Now I know, my boy. And then this is the happiest that I've seen him since his mother left us. And please call me Bowser. Mr. Koopa was my father.
Luigi leaned forward.
When you mean left you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry.
And blushed when he realized that he was asking about something incredibly sensitive and personal. Bowser chuckled.
That's fine. As long as I can ask you a personal question in return.
Luigi nodded. Bowser sighed.
His mother were happy. Then she found out about Junior. Then suddenly she wasn't ready for commitment. She wanted to explore the world and find herself and reconnect with nature and so on. As soon as it was hatching day for him, she up and left. He never knew her. I've told him about the good things, and when he's older, then I'll tell him the rest.
Luigi reached out a gloved hand and rested it on top of Bowser's arms, feeling his toned, strong muscles. Then Bowser leaned forward.
Alright, my turn, Big City. What's the issue with Purple Man over there? And what's the real reason you stayed here?
Luigi gulped.
Actually, the answer is the same for both. He's my ex from the city. I came out here to get away from him, and that's it.
Bowser grunted.
Must have been pretty bad if you pretended not to even know the guy.
Luigi sighed and twiddled his thumbs.
Yeah, well, we were not great together, and I caught him cheating. 15 times.
Oh my god.
15 times. 10 times with the same guy, and we went together a long time, and we lived together. And he's a real piece of shit, and the breakup was real messy. So yeah, fuck that guy, and I never want to see him again.
Bowser leaned in and flexed his muscles.
Don't worry, Big City. I'll keep him away from you and keep you safe from your ex.
Luigi's eyes widened and he gulped when he saw Bowser flex. Despite himself, he was mesmerized by Bowser's arms and chest, and his face wasn't half bad either. Luigi shook himself mentally and stammered out a thank you. Hours later, the festival winded. Luigi and the Koopas packed up for the night, sat on the green and watched the drones make a synchronized light show and then left. Luigi was carrying Junior to the Koopa's door when Junior blinked a little.
Uncle Luke, can you spend the night?
Luigi looked at Bowser, who shrugged.
You might as well. It's a long walk back to your place and it's dark. You might get lost or hurt, bitch.
They walked inside and Luigi got Junior dressed in his spaceship pajamas, made sure that he brushed his teeth and sharpened his horns, then tucked him in and read him a story, kissed his forehead and closed the door. Bowser found him.
Thanks for putting Junior to bed while I got the guest room made.
Luigi shrugged.
No problem, he's a good kid, and you're doing a great job with him.
Both stood awkwardly and Luigi spoke again.
And thanks for the chili, it was delicious, really.
Bowser chuckled.
Yeah, the little guy outdid himself. But your cannoli were good too.
Luigi smiled.
Well, if you like my cannolis, you should try some of my spaghetti and meatballs.
Bowser's eyebrows raised in surprise and he smirked. Luigi quickly realized how that sounded and he stammered.
I meant that you should try some of my cooking, not...
Bowser cut him off.
Yeah? Alright, Big City, it's a date. Tomorrow night we'll come over to your place and I try some of your cooking.
Luigi only nodded.
A date? I mean, yeah, that sounds cool. And you and Junior would be my first guests, actually, so that would be nice.
Great, we'll be there at 6. Sleep well, Lou. Me or Junior will wake you up tomorrow morning.
Bowser said as he walked to his bedroom. Luigi said goodnight and crawled into the bed and thought,
I've another date with Bowser. What is happening? And how am I gonna tell Mario?
He fell asleep, thinking about being held by Bowser's enormous arms and his voice saying,
Don't worry, Pixie, I'll keep you safe.
Chapter 5. Noodles with extra sauce, please. Summary. Bowser joins Luigi for a pasta dinner. Where will it lead? Notes. Content warning, trigger warning, mentions of biphobia.
Biphobia?
Luigi woke up to someone shaking him. He groggily woke up and saw Junior standing next to his bed and remembered the events of last night. He sat up and smiled at Junior.
Oh, fuck.
Morning, Junior. Sleep well?
Junior nodded and put something in his lap. Luigi looked down and saw burnt toast, bacon, and eggs with a cup of orange juice and coffee on a tray.
4 minutes.
I made you breakfast.
What?
Made you breakfast. Papa said that you might like coffee, so he made you a cup. Well, really a pot, but he poured it into a cup. Just this one cup, I mean. Not the entire pot. The cup's too small for the entire thing. Oh, I'm sorry about the toast. I touched a little while the bacon was fried, and I forgot to check the setting. I put the butter on the one peanut butter on the other one because I wasn't sure which one you preferred, so I gave you both. And I wasn't sure how you liked your eggs, so I just scrambled them and I did it all by myself. Papa said he would clean up while I gave you our food. Woke up, so that's what I have here now.
As he kept talking, Junior climbed onto the bed and sat next to Luigi. Luigi simply kept nodding and politely took a bite of both pieces of toast, which tasted, well, burned. He smiled and took a sip of his coffee and ate the rest of the breakfast as Junior kept talking about the usual random things that children talk about until Bowser walked into the room.
Junior! Leave the man alone and go brush your teeth. Sorry about that, big city.
Junior gave Luigi a quick hug, then jumped off the bed with his tail wagging as he walked out of the room and to the bathroom.
Sorry again about Junior, big city. He was just a little excited to have a guest. We don't have him regularly, so he got a bit carried away.
Luigi smiled.
It's not a problem. He's a really nice boy.
Bowser smiled.
Yeah, well, I do my best. Listen, don't worry about the dishes. Go ahead and get changed, and I'll walk you back to your place.
Luigi realized that he was holding up Bowser from work, so he flung the covers off and jumped out of bed and came face to face with a blushing Bowser.
Let you get ready. I will be just outside. Not outside the door, just outside the house, I meant. Yeah.
Bowser stammered embarrassedly as he backed out of the door. Luigi couldn't figure out why Bowser had acted so odd until he looked down and saw that he was only in his boxers, and much to his horror and embarrassment, he had gotten aroused and the tip of his cock was visible.
Oh, mamma mia! Then he took a moment to ponder. Bowser's a guy. Why would he get so flustered? Unless he's not gay or bi, is he?
Luigi blushed at the thought that he was, and decided to ignore it and talk about it with Mario. He got dressed and finished his breakfast, carried the tray into the kitchen and cleaned his cup and dishes, then walked out of the door. He saw Bowser waiting for him. Ah, fuck, the scrolling! He saw Bowser waiting for him. Luigi didn't know how to handle the situation, so he cleared his throat and just said,
Thanks again for letting me spend the night. I'm sorry for my...
What the fuck?
Nah, don't worry about it, big city. I haven't had someone stay the night in a long time.
Luigi blushed again, and...
Is it Bowser?
Yeah, it's Bowser.
I mean, me and Junior haven't had visitors in a while. We were happy to have you, and anytime you want to come over, it's fine with us.
Bowser hastily added. Luigi chuckled, and the two started walking back to Luigi's side of the fence. As the two walked, they chatted about how stubborn the birds were, how the night's rain would help the crops, and make it harder to till, and how it would affect the animals, and soon, Luigi started talking about his life in the city. Bowser talked about his childhood, and how he never knew his parents, how his grandparents died before he was born, leaving him to be raised by a family friend. Eventually they got closer to Luigi's side of the fence, and as they were parting, Bowser said,
Alright, big city. You know the rest of the way back, so this is where we'll part ways.
Luigi turned to say goodbye when Bowser added,
So we'll see you tonight for super. I can't
Supper.
wait to take supper. I can't wait to test your spaghetti and meatballs.
Luigi was so
With
caught
meatballs,
off.
I mean your fucking balls. Oh.
Luigi was so caught off guard that he spun around too quickly and his feet slipped in the mud, causing him to fall. Quickly, Bowser caught him in his big, thick, strong arms. Luigi
Harry
stared into his
0294.
eyes, and to his
Have it,
surprise, Bowser
supper.
stared back, visible concern in his eyes. Luigi was tempted to caress Bowser's face, but he resisted, not sure if the attraction and tension between them was only one-sided, and was afraid to be rejected and ruin their tender friendship.
What is PM doing?
You're right,
Oh.
Luigi. Luigi. It says Luigi.
Luigi! Luigi blushed and could only nod that he was fine. Bowser helped him to his feet and the two stared quietly for a minute before Luigi held out his hands to Bowser and said,
Oh, thanks. Sorry, yes. I'll have supper ready by 6 p.m. unless that's too late for Junior.
Bowser glanced at Luigi's hand for a minute, then shook it and answered,
No, he doesn't usually go to bed until 9. So it's all good. See you at 6, Big City.
Luigi walked to the fence and climbed over it, turned and watched Bowser walk away for a bit, before heading to change and put on his gloves so he could get to work. If only Luigi would have waited a few more minutes, he would have seen Bowser flex his hand as he walked to join his son in the fields. Hours later, Luigi was cooking spaghetti! With only a butter and olive oil sauce, meatballs, buttered breadsticks, a chocolate cake, and coffee and tea to drink. As he cooked, he called Mario and gave him an update.
Sounds like you have a thing for the big guy.
Luigi blushed.
No, it's not like that. I'm just being a good neighbor, all.
Mario smirked.
Well, be a better neighbor and fuck the man, or at least give him some head.
Why is Mario so raunchy in this fanfiction? Luigi coughed on some water he was drinking.
Mario, please, it's not like that. We're just friends.
Raccoon Mario.
Besides, I'm
Mario.
sure he's not gay or bi, and I'm just touch-starved.
Mario shook his head in disbelief.
Bro, you're cooking dinner, you slept at his place, and you shared a couple of embraces, and you tucked his son in bed. Face it, Lou, you're smitten with the guy.
Luigi's face turned.
No, I must say I'm not. And the embraces were just saving me from harm, and his son is too adorable too. Besides, even if I am, it's not like the guy's attracted to me, and there's no way that a guy like him would go out with a guy like me.
To his surprise, he was sad that what he said was true.
Shit. I think you're right, Mario. I am smitten with the fella.
Mario clapped.
Yes, I knew it.
But before Mario could say anything more, there was a knock at the door which made Luigi jump, nearly dropping his tablet. His Windows XP tablet. He rushed a goodbye to Mario and hung up, then answered the door. There in a shirt with the chest open and a nice pair of pants was Bowser. Hair slicked back with flowers in his hand.
Hi, Big City. Junior wanted to come over, but we forgot he had sleepover to go to, so it's just me.
Harry 0294.
Wanted me
His
to give you
iPad.
these flowers.
Yeah, this is how convenient, huh? That his son is not there. How convenient. Don't you think so, Dario? Bowser had out some sunflowers. Luigi took them.
I'll put them in some water. Please come inside.
Me, come inside me. A voice in Luigi's head screamed. He ignored the voice and rambled a bit as he put the flowers away.
Good place, Big City. Love what you've done with the place. Of course, I've never been in a place myself, but you've got good taste.
Luigi beamed.
Thanks, I did what I could. Most of my expenses go to the farm, you know. But what little extra I have goes to things that brighten the place.
Bowser nodded, then Luigi gestured to the small dining room.
Dinner's ready. Do you want tea, coffee, or water? I don't really drink, so there's no alcohol.
What?
Really? Didn't you drink beer?
Yeah, earlier in the fanfiction he drank beer.
Okay.
So that's a contradiction, alright.
Yeah.
Bowser replied.
He is fine, thanks.
Luigi nodded and poured a cup and finished setting the table.
Oh, don't worry, I'll make a plate for Junior when he comes back home.
Luigi added as he served Bowser some spaghetti and meatballs.
Thanks, Big City.
The two ate and talked all the way through dinner, and all the way through dessert. They talked about how Luigi met his ex and why he stayed with him for so long. Then they talked about Bowser's childhood and how the wizard that raised him is the same wizard that lives near them both, and what it was like living with him. The old grandfather clock that Luigi had in the living room chimed midnight. Bowser stood quite quickly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stay so late. I'll help you clean up and then I head out.
Luigi also stood.
Well, I won't say no to the help cleaning up, but I can't send you out in the dark. Besides, sounds like a pretty bad rainstorm
Carry
out there.
0294.
Might as well spend the
Shine.
night.
He blushed as he remembered that he only had the one bed. How convenient! Oh my god, this is so bad.
I only had the one bed. so
Oh gosh.
So take the couch and you can take the bed.
I'll take the couch, you can keep the bed.
Bowser said. Luigi waved a hand.
Don't be ridiculous. You're too big for the couch. And don't say you'll sleep on the floor either. It's not comfortable.
Bowser scratched his head.
Raccoon Mario. Sleep on the couch.
Well, we could compromise. We both take the bed.
Luigi silently both cheered and screamed at the thought, but stammered out,
Yeah. If that's the only way to get you into bed, then let's share.
The two started doing dishes.
Carry
Luigi would
0294.
wash them while Bowser would
Ahaha.
hand them to him.
Raccoon Mario. Or Luigi
And that's
sleeps
the
on the
last
floor.
of them.
Luigi said as he turned around to Bowser standing right in front of him, his giant body looming over him. Luigi couldn't stop staring at Bowser's broad and muscled chest. He finally looked up at Bowser, who was now leaning forward, arms on the cupboards.
Carry 0294. Serious
You gotta
slow.
be more careful. This is the third time I've stopped you from hurting yourself. You stacked the dishes too high, and they were falling out.
Luigi replied,
Well then, it's a good thing that I live so close to you. I can rely on you to keep me safe.
Bowser let out a low chuckle.
You sure you want that, Big City? You look like you've got your hands full enough as it is.
Luigi smiled coyly.
These hands can handle plenty more, trust me.
Then something came over Luigi. He gently grabbed Bowser's chin, pulled it towards him, and kissed him right on the lips. Bowser tensed at first, but relaxed and returned the kiss. And soon, he was grinding and making out with Luigi. Luigi was losing his mind in pure pleasure when Bowser pulled back.
Wait.
He said, and a piece broke inside of Luigi.
I'm sorry, we shouldn't.
Luigi wanted to agree, but he couldn't, so he just asked.
Why not?
Bowser turned away.
I've only been with women.
Luigi smiled and moved in front of him.
That's okay,
But Bowser continued.
I mean, I'm bi, but when you have a kid and a farm to look after, most men don't want that, you know? They think that I'm just being ashamed of being gay or just in a
Raccoon
phase,
Mario.
or worse,
This
that
fanfic
I'm not
makes
queer,
no sense.
that I'm just pretending.
Luigi didn't know what to say. He had bi friends, and unfortunately, this was something they always complained about. He put a hand on Bowser's chest.
Carry
But about
0294.
I
Agree.
love Junior, and since I have this farm, I know the life. I see you, and I don't care who you're attracted to, men, women, and boys. I don't care, as long as we can be happy together.
Bowser blushed.
I appreciate it, Big City, but I don't think this will work out between us.
Luigi was stubborn, determined, and horny, and touch-starved. He stopped Bowser with another kiss.
I think you're just afraid that I'll reject you, or that Junior will be upset. Oh wait. Somehow
Yeah, I
I
think-
don't think we should. What?
I don't know who's saying this. Is this
Who's
Luigi?
saying this?
Uh,
No, I think this is Luigi.
I think you're just afraid that I'd reject you, that Junior will be upset somehow. I don't think he would be. Come on, you make sure that Junior's always happy and taken care of. It's your turn to be happy and taken care of.
Bowser stood still and wouldn't look Luigi in the face. Luigi lowered his hand lower and lower until it reached Bowser's cock.
I've had feelings for you since we met with the chain jump. I would touch myself. I fucked my bussy.
I'm sorry. I just can't take that seriously. When someone says bussy, I can't take that seriously.
Carry 0294. WTF face rolling on the floor laughing face rolling on the floor laughing.
I don't know. Imagining that it was your cock inside me. That your hands.
Raccoon Mario. Who can take
They're
this
playing
seriously?
with my cock,
Carry
but I
0294.
could feel your
Why
body
would you say
pressed
that?
against mine, and I would come hard, fast, and a lot.
Luigi said in a seductive tone, feeling Bowser's cock begin to grow.
All of my sex dreams have been with you in it, doing a number of things I couldn't even describe, except I could tell you that it felt so damn good!
With each pause, Luigi kissed a part of Bowser whose breathing got quicker and shallower. Luigi kneeled and undid Bowser's pants, letting them fall to his ankles, and saw his dick in full glory. It was smaller than Luigi thought it would be, but it was curved, thick, and dripping with pre-cum. Luigi smiled, taking pleasure in the fact that he had such an effect on him. He teased the head, getting his hand sticky with pre-cum. He sucked on it and moaned with satisfaction as he finally tasted Bowser's cum. He looked up at Bowser and asked,
Well, do you want me to keep going?
Bowser looked down at Luigi, but instead of answering him, he grabbed the back of Luigi's head and pushed it close to his cock, and all he said was,
Please!
Luigi opened his mouth and licked the head, then the shaft, and playing with the balls. Finally, he stuck Bowser's dick in his mouth, doing his best to make Bowser bust down his throat. He played with his balls, he fingered Bowser's virgin ass, and would only take his dick
Raccoon
out
Mario,
of his mouth
because
to spit
Luigi
on it and
sounds
to rub on
funny.
it. Until he heard Bowser say through groans,
Oh. I'm gonna!
Luigi looked up at Bowser and made eye contact as Bowser busted his load down Luigi's throat. Bowser hadn't come in so long, being too busy with the farm and Junior, so there was some build-up. Luigi pulled away from Bowser's no limp dick and wiped it clean on his mustache.
It's the perfect mob, you know.
Bowser helped Luigi to his feet, then said,
That's, some incredible, Drew.
He shifted his feet awkwardly, causing Luigi to laugh. Luigi took Bowser's hand and led him upstairs to the bedroom.
Come on, big guy.
Oh, wait.
Come on, big guy. Let's go to bed.
Luigi undressed in front of Bowser, who he pushed onto the bed. He grabbed some lube and a condom and whispered,
I want to be inside of you. Do you want this?
Bowser grunted. Bowser grunted? Come on.
Raccoon Mario. They're already in bed.
Dario? What's going on?
I don't know.
Did Dario die?
I think it did.
Dario? Is he fapping to the fanfiction now?
I got interrupted, but
Sorry, I got disturbed. Alright.
Man, you're
where was
missing
I?
the best part, Mario. Bowser grunted.
Where's this?
I do. I want you, Lou. I've wanted you since I talked to you in Daisy's place. Please, take my gay virginity.
Luigi laughed and Bowser put the condom on his cock.
0294.
Then had
He
Bowser
went off
suck him a bit,
screen.
then lubed it up, and then he lubed up Bowser's asshole, getting it ready. Luigi breathed slowly as he slid his cock in, and he grinned when he heard Bowser gasp with pleasure. He went slowly, with Bowser on his back, with legs spread, staring right into Luigi's eyes. With this being Bowser's first gay encounter, he wanted to show him a good time, so he took his time with him, and as he saw his dick getting hard again, Luigi stroked it as he thrust it and kept Bowser groaning. He stopped for a minute.
Do you wanna...
What?
Do you wanna change position or stay as we are?
Stay, I wanna cover you in my cum.
Luigi smiled and bent down, kissed Bowser, and just felt him as he began to thrust again. Soon Luigi came, filling the condom, and he felt Bowser shoot another hot load against his stomach and chest. He collapsed on top of him, kissed his neck, chest, and face, and carefully threw away the condom. He soon found himself wrapped in Bowser's arms.
So,
Luigi gasped.
what's this? What you expected?
Bowser wrapped Luigi's chin lovingly.
Better.
She snuggled up against Bowser. Suddenly tired, he felt Bowser cover them up with a blanket. Then he drifted off to sleep, happy that he no longer was dreaming. And sadly, it seems to end here.
That sucks.
Well, that was actually pretty wholesome, you know.
Actually, that was very well written, actually.
I agree. Yeah. Holy
Other than a
shit.
few typos.
Yeah. Yeah, this one gets a kudos, alright. But, is it gonna be continued? Let me check. Oh, it was published in November 2023. And let's check the profile.
Raccoon Mario. Moral of the story. Follow your dreams.
There were a couple other fanfictions. But not sure if it's gonna be continued, you know.
That sucks.
Or maybe that was the end, you know, they just fucked and you know, and that's it. Moral of the story,
Well.
follow your dreams. Yes. I'm gonna follow my dreams.
Is it now time to
You
stop?
dog!